Villain story. Our story begins where the original left off. Ariel had defeated Ursula and was blissfully in love with Eric, but something had changed. Something was wrong. Ariel's voice felt unfamiliar. Anytime she sang or hummed a tune, the tone felt off, the timbre in her voice darker. The first few times she dismissed it as nothing, simply her getting used to being able to speak again. But as Ariel went about her days, singing to herself frequently, Eric began to act different too, possessive and obsessively dotting towards Ariel. Something was definitely wrong. Just as Ariel was about to go in search of an answer, Eric placed a lock on her door. Confused and heartbroken, Ariel demanded to know the meaning of this. Eric's eyes were glassy and harsh as he told her that he wanted to keep her safe. Grimsby, Eric's guardian, noticed the change in Eric too and grew suspicious of Ariel, concerned that she'd done something to harm the prince as he'd seen Ursula do not long ago. He went to the library and collected every book he could find on mermaids and studied Eric's behavior from afar until he came upon an answer.
We thought your kind had died out. More than 500 years have passed since you disappeared from our history books. But I've found you.
Prince Eric's eyes widened as he read the text Grimsby handed him.
Siren.
Siren? Ariel hadn't heard that word before, but something deep and primal inside her called to it. Something that had laid dormant in her for too long. Ariel couldn't understand why her voice had suddenly picked up this effect, but Eric was right. Somewhere along the way, she had become a siren. But how? The voice she cherished had become a curse. Every note, every melody seemed to enthrall a human, almost as if Ursula's dark magic had awakened an ancient power in Ariel's voice whilst in her possession. Eric locked Ariel away in the castle's jail, determined to shake her grip on him and protect humankind from this new threat. But truly, he was afraid of her power and overwhelmed by an urge to possess his own strange creature. Ariel's siren magic had caused permanent damage, and Eric's need to own her was obsessive. But that didn't count for the rest of her people. He had no love for them, and that day he released a decree ordering them to be killed on sight.
I'm sorry?
Heartbroken, Ariel tried to convince Eric to see reason, but she was no longer permitted to talk. Ariel was constantly gagged to stop any potential use of her power, and her guards' ears blocked. At no point did Ariel try to use her power, but the dark eye of the siren had awoken in her, and it was getting more and more agitated. Every day wasted, locked up, was another day her people lived in danger of humans. She could only hold out for so long, and when one lazy guard went to adjust his earplug, she took the opportunity to escape and used her powers against a human willingly for the first time. It felt natural. It felt right. As Ariel raced back home, she reflected on her time with humans. Was she truly the monster, or was everything she had been taught about them true? She no longer wanted to be a part of their world, not now they'd threaten hers. So she would fight fire with fire. The very people she had once admired became her prey. Humans were simple, fragile creatures, and she was a siren, born to lure them, to captivate them, and to control them. Ariel returned to the seas and coaxed forth the ancient nature of her fellow sirens and prepared to defend her home from any that dared get too close. And if they wanted a monster, then a monster was what they would get. And Eric was about to find out just how deep the sea truly went.
Ooh, I'm